Welcome back to the Clipsal 500 and a fireball like you have never seen. Check this out. That was Mark Griffith in the Ginetta GT4, the Australian GT Championship yesterday. The mother of all explosions. It was extraordinary to watch in the late afternoon and just lit up this Clipsal circuit. Mark is okay. The car, on the other hand, is, as you can imagine, a little bit scorched. And that will be something that we'll be talking about today in the V8 Supercar Series. The heat will certainly play a factor. It always does at the Clipsal 500. Today it's going to top 30 degrees, but with these new makes and new models and brand new cars and the distribution of weight and the changes, one of the changes is the engine has been brought forward closer to the driver, and we've just seen an extraordinary amount of heat being generated through the cockpit. So we'll be talking about that because they're suffering blisters on their feet, and it's really hard work. We already saw Russell Ingall farewelling full-time V8 supercar driving this season, his 220th championship start. There is Garth Tander, the former winner on these streets. And this is one of the real beauties of this event. The Harley-Davidsons roll out. The class of 2013 is officially presented to this enormous crowd. The big Barry Sheen pit straight grandstand to their left, to our right of screen. Take a look at it. It's a wonderful facility. The drivers love coming here. Scafey, we often talk about the fact that this is one of the rare circuits, especially when you come around the last lap in front, where you can really hear the crowd.
It's got a real amphitheatre about it. It's one of the top of the hill at Bathurst, and this main straight section that you're looking at now are the two areas on the calendar where the crowd reaction is overwhelming over the noise of the cars, and it's an unbelievable reaction. It's an unbelievable event. And how's the two blokes? Always, usually Lowndes is normally the only guy who actually does ride the bike. The rest are passengers. And now Russell Ingall, his final tour of the Clipsal 500. Todd Kelly there.
He had a tough day yesterday. He had a power steering problem. You've got to remember, too, with Todd Kelly, that he missed the back end of last season with a shoulder injury and had surgery as well. Then the massive task of heading up the program to introduce Nissan into this category. So it's been a really tiring effort. And for poor old Todd to cop a mechanical failure throughout yesterday, that was just another blow. But I'm really impressed with the way that the Kelly boys have attacked this new program and bring Nissan into our category. Will Davison, second yesterday, the leading man on the Ford side. He's got the funky Pepsi Max crew cap going. And Pepsi Max getting behind the FPR stable, which is 4 cars this year. He's got his brother back out there, Alex, as well. And there's Lounsey. He will never miss the opportunity to have 2 hands on the handle. He must be driving Casey Stoner nuts.
Exactly.
As Casey's been driving everybody nuts with his V8 talk, because Casey's a V8 tragic, Lowndes is a motorcycle tragic.
He'd be asking every question, because they go to, and so does J-Dub now. Yeah. So Jamie Whincup there, that's the first time I've seen him do that. So they're all getting Casey Stoner bike lessons down in that place at the moment. It'd be funny if one of them arrowed off.
It would be funny for them. Well, what about Whincup? Just the most prolific winning driver of the last 5 years. Last year alone, he racked up an enormous amount of statistical evidence to show that he's one of the all-time greats. 12 race wins, 7 pole positions, and his 4th driver's title. Scott McLaughlin is one of the feel-good stories of the weekend, and let's hope for the rest of the year as well. He debuted last year just an hour or so after winning the Dunlop Development Series. Gary Rogers threw him in the car full-time at the streets of Sydney, and he performed well. If you thought that was his best day, well, I don't know if it was topped by yesterday when he finished inside the top 10, and he's now a full-time V8 supercar driver. Shane Van Gisbergen's in control of a Harley. I don't know about that.
Exactly. I know which seat we don't want to be in.
So as the drivers head out, Let's remind you of where we're headed this season. Not only are we back at Pukekohe, New Zealand, this one will be unbelievable. The Circuit of the Americas for the first time ever. V8 supercars heading across to North America. We're putting on the big hats and we're going to Texas. We've already brained them in Formula One. If you would like to be part of it, there are the details on your screen. sportsnetholidays.com/V8 Texas or 1300 888 858 for all your information. Jump on the plane, because on May 17 to 19, it will be history on that incredible circuit over in Texas. We will take a break. The V8 supercar drivers are out there soaking up the sun and the fans and the fun. We've got Carrera Cup racing coming up after this. Stay with us. Another reason why this is one of the most successful and popular events on our calendar. There truly is something for everyone at the Clipsal 500, and the crowds have responded. 80,000 yesterday, and if we get 100,000 today, we will beat the all-time record here at the Clipsal 500 of 291,000. As for the drivers, well, they're all good to go. They're set. Their last official duties are done. The class of 2013 is locked in ahead of this afternoon's 250k race. Shane van Gisbergen on pole position yet again after doing the same yesterday. And as far as the breakdown goes for our 28 drivers this year, 15 Holdens, 6 Fords, 4 Nissans and 3 E63 AMG Mercedes-Benz. Right now, we're going to throw some Porsches into the mix as well. Not the V8 supercars, but in their own category, the Carrera Cup Australia Championship, the third race of their weekend. And the big question as we hand over to our commentators, James Moffat and Aaron Noons, can anyone catch Craig Baird?
It's the big question, isn't it, Matty? So far this weekend, the answer's simple. No. 2 wins from 2 starts. He's going for 3 in a row to claim the round. He'll start on the front row with Stephen Richards, Nick Percat and Warren Luff on row 2. Shay Davies has done a really good job for Team Kiwi this weekend. He's on row 3 with Carl Reindler. Michael Patrizzi and Max Twigg, the best of the elite class runners. We've had a bit of damage and a bit of contact with a few cars. Tony Bates won't start this race. He was in a crash yesterday with Damien Flack. Flack was excluded from the results for that contact, so he's down the back of the grid. Bates will not start, so we're down 1 in terms of the Carrera Cup cars. We're down to 20 for this first round. Well, final race of the first round, I should say. So good mix here with elite drivers, professional drivers. But as Matty said, yeah, Craig Baird has simply been the man. He's been winning in GT Mercedes here this weekend as well. He's undefeated in 4 races.
He definitely has his act together around the streets of Clipsal. There's no doubt about that. A couple of people to watch out for in this race. Michael Patrizzi with fresh tyres after a qualifying accident meant that he didn't run his second set. And expect Junior Johnson, Steve Johnson, coming from the back of the field to charge through. But all eyes will be at the front of the field to see if Craig Baird can be knocked off that P1.
We'll be on board too with Shane Smolin, one of the elite class drivers, and Duvashem Padiachi, who had an accident in race 1 on Friday, absolutely belted into Mark Sini down at turn 9, caused a fair bit of damage. He's managed to work his way back up to 15th in race 2. So this is the final race of the weekend. Craig Baird to the left of screen, reigning champ, 4-time Carrera Cup winner and 10-time Porsche champion across Australia and New Zealand. We saw better pace yesterday from Stephen Richards. He's on the front row. There was a bit of contact between he and Baird yesterday. It got a bit willing.
It did into turn 11. Richo had a big lunge up the inside into turn 9. Almost got that pass done. So he's had good speed all weekend. Also watch out for Nick Percat. But the starts in these Carrera Cup cars are always critical. And Baird is always a master at them. So can Richo get the jump on the reigning Carrera Cup champion, just about ready to get going?
If they're going to stop the streak, they need to beat him here. They need to get to the centre chicane first. He's got the launch again. He's done it. Craig Baird is a car length in front down to the first corner. Moves across, takes the line. Stephen Richards second. Tight behind. Percat third. Warren Luff is fourth. Over the curve. Shay Davies. Carl Reindler's down the inside. Michael Patrizzi making ground as well. But the key in the first 2 races for Baird was he had a margin within 3 corners. He hasn't got it in this one.
Certainly right. Stephen Richards going with him. Just missed a jump slightly on Baird there, but Craig Baird is always fantastic on cold tyres and generally gets his winning advantage on the opening lap. But look at Richo using all those years of experience to go with Baird.
It's stepped up this year, Porsche Carrera Cup, a range of V8 supercar drivers that a lot of fans will know have joined the series. We've seen Warren Luff step in, Nick Percat's in there, Stephen Johnson's having a run too.
And just have a look at the commitment of Baird through turn 8, the opening lap, leaving no margin for error on that wall at turn 8. But Richo, he is applying as much pressure as he can. He's all over the back of Baird in the Jet Travel Insurance Porsche.
Been a while since Richo's had a Carrera Cup win back at Barbagallo in 2011 in his first year in the Porsche series. Percat's been fast this weekend. He's broken the qualifying record and the lap record in that Coates Hire 222 car run by Team BRM. So a South Australian raised driver and a South Australian team right here on home soil. There's Stephen Johnson in the red and blue Porsche there, the Hunter Sports Group car, trying to work his way through. He had some contact yesterday, hence why he starts down the back. But Baird is under fire here. Richards is all over the back of him at the start of this 12-lapper. And certainly, this is not what we've seen in the first two races. We've seen Baird get a second and a half, and pretty much keep it for the rest of the run.
Great sign so far, Nunes, of we're in for a cracking third and final race from Porsches this weekend. And Nick Percat, you touched on him, really impressive debut in this category, it has to be said, to get pole position, hold the race lap record now, and be running in the top 3 all weekend. And, you know, he's not out of this race either at the moment. But look at these guys. They are closely matched at the moment. There's nothing in these cars. Baird through turn 8.
And it's nose to tail. The top 6 are going together. Shea Davies 7th from Matt Kingsley, the Queenslander, in the Action Tyres number 50 car. But how's this for a freight train? You've got V8 supercar race winners here, there and everywhere. Baird, a winner with Stone Brothers. Richards, a Bathurst winner. Percat, a Bathurst winner. Warren Luff, the winner of the Sandown 500 with Craig Lowndes last year. And this is the great thing about this class. If you've not watched it before, everyone is driving the same Porsche GT3 Cup car on Michelin control slip tyres, 450 horsepower. Limited setup changes can be made. It's about the driver.
And, you know, from experience, Nunes, I can vouch for these cars. They are absolutely fantastic to drive. You see them launch over the curbs through turn 1 and 2 at Clipsal. Percat now having a bit of a look up the inside of Richards into turn 4. Very bumpy for these cars under brakes. And generally, probably what we're seeing here is everybody saved their best set of tyres for the third and final race. So what we're seeing is everybody has the best of what they've got underneath them. Like we touched on, Michael Patrizzi, he has a fresh set of tyres due to a qualifying accident.
What we should point out too is that the drivers have 2 sets of tyres for qualifying in the 3 races, but unlike V8 supercars, the front and the rears are different sizes, so you can't shuffle them around the car as much. You're limited in what you can do.
Exactly right. And on board there, having a bit of a look forward at Stephen Johnson. So he's starting to carve his way through the field, already up to 14th, having started from the back. He'll be looking to set up Grove. Inside pass into the hairpin. Yep, here he goes. There goes Junior up the inside. Pretty textbook move, that one, into the hairpin here at Clipsal.
And Steve's virtually swapped cars with Johnny Reid, who's driving for DJR in the 17 Falcon. Johnny drove this car last year to finish runner-up in the Carrera Cup to Craig Baird, so it's a unique swap around and change. And seeing 17 on a Porsche, it's a bit different.
It's not quite the same, but it's still great to see Stevie J out there. Disappointing that he's not in the 17 car in the main series, but look at Baird. He's got a bit of a gap, 0.6 of a second that last time by, so just starting to ease a bit of a margin on Stephen Richards in the Laser Porsche.
Percat behind, Warren Luff in the number 7 Porsche, driving for Andy McElroy's team this year. And Luff was actually going to do Carrera Cup a couple of years ago, but it was the year when the series didn't happen. It went on holiday for a couple of years. It's come back. There's a new Carrera Cup car coming for 2014, and chatting to some of the sources in Germany, it sounds like it's going to have even more power. We might get another 20 or 30 horsepower, which would make these cars unbelievably quick. But check this out. That's 450 horsepower as Percat is trying to line up a move on Steve Richards, but Baird's just skipping away. He's got it out to 1 second.
Now what we can see here is Richo coming under a bit of pressure from Percat, so probably focusing a little bit on what's happening behind him rather than being able to go with Baird. But also Warren Luff, this is probably the best we've seen him go all weekend in terms of holding on to the leader's pace. Just dropping back a little bit in this last lap, but Percat, he looks to me like he's a bit of a man on the mission and wants to get past Richo.
And Luff's in the position he's been all weekend. He's had a pair of fourths in the 2 races. He actually got pinged 5 seconds for a jump start from yesterday, but that was rescinded, so he managed to hang on a fourth. How was Percat there? Both the front wheels were off the deck then.
So that's probably one of the biggest differences as Percat has a look up the inside into turn 4.
He's keeping the pressure on, but this is the man they're chasing. Car number 1, the reigning champ, Craig Baird, leads on the streets of Adelaide. Lap 5 of 12. Here is not how you treat your Porsche Carrera Cup car. Warren Luff launching off the chicane. All 4 Michelins clearly off the ground. Look at the landing, though. It's damaged the front right element of the splitter of this car. He's dropping back through the field because Michael Patrizzi has got past and grabbed 4th. On board, though, with Craig Baird. Still leads the way. 1.6 seconds clear of Stephen Richards, who did just set the fastest lap of the race. And here he is, Nick Percat just behind. Massive margin back to 4th placed Michael Patrizzi. Kingsley through now to 5th and Warren Luff 6th and really starting to struggle. Yeah,
we saw that drama with Luffy at the turn 1 and 2 chicane. Damaged that splitter, so he'll definitely have a bit more understeer in the car, so he doesn't have as much front grip that he was used to with that damage to the splitter. And he's coming under a bit of pressure from Carl Reindler in that Wilson Security Porsche.
Late opportunity, late deal to get Carl into this car for this weekend. Of course, drove last year with Kelly Racing in a Commodore, but not in V8 supercars at this stage. Oh, drama. Padiachi's off the road, and that's gravel. And a tyre wall. That's on the run back into Victoria Park.
Turn 11, I think, noon, so he's not going anywhere. I wonder if that'll bring out a safety car or whether they might just be able to keep that under local yellow, hopefully with 4 laps to go.
And that's a good point, actually. Race control this year for Carrera Cup's a bit different. Cam McConville, previously driving standards observer for Porsches. He, of course, is doing that role for V8 supercars now. He's the race director for this series, so interesting to see what call is ended up being made from race control. But Luffy is still under pressure. This will tell us what happened.
Actually sounds like something might have broken there, Noon. Yeah. Didn't see any tyre smoke, so it wasn't as if he charged in there with the left front all locked up. So difficult weekend for Padiachi in his Carrera Cup debut. But Luffy under pressure again into the hairpin. So he's definitely struggling with the balance of that Porsche later on in this race. But Craig Baird still maintaining a nice, comfortable margin, 2.5 out in front of Stephen Richards. Shay Davies on the back of this pack, doing a great job, I think, this weekend. Difficult track to come to in these cars, and he's been comfortably in the top 6 to 7 all weekend. Currently 8th in this race, but good young job. Good job from a young kid.
I knew what you were meaning. You got there in the end. He's had a pair of 5ths this weekend, so he slipped a little bit further back in the order, but he did 2 rounds last year on the Gold Coast in Sydney, so he's not unfamiliar with Carrera Cup cars on street tracks. A bit strange for an Aussie to be in a Team Kiwi car. We've been ribbing him all weekend about it. But Shane Smolin on board, 13th overall, and at the moment in elite, he's 4th in class. Just turn this up, have a listen to this 450 horsepower, 6-cylinder Porsche engine. And there's pressure coming for Smolin because Damien Flack, who started down the back of the grid after exclusion from race 2, is slipping on by. That's the fight for 13th place. It's not done with yet.
Oh, this is a bit messy, Noons. You can't get too wide through there. Smolin deciding at the last minute to back out of it. Flack gets through. He's now heading on after Mark Sini, but look, Nick Percat, he's now set the fastest lap of the race. Bit of a move here by Renee Gracie.
Now this is Renee Gracie, who's on debut, 18-year-old from Queensland, hasn't done much car racing, is just playing herself in. First time in Carrera Cup this weekend. She's part of the McElroy racing team. She's just tagged the wall. And Smolin ends up losing a spot, has to bang it down another gear and get it rolling again. And goes and has his own accident at turn 4.
Yeah, so it just looked like in that onboard lap with Smolin that he was starting to struggle a little bit with the rear tyres and just losing the rear on entry to turn 4, just giving the tyre wall a bit of a kiss, but I'm sure he'll be able to keep going. But have a look at this guy, Craig Baird, doing it comfortably. Last lap now, so all he's really got to do is bring it home, and this will be his 9th win around the streets of Adelaide, if I'm not mistaken. So that makes him by far the most winningest Porsche Carrera Cup driver on this circuit.
This will give him 9 race wins at this track. He'll clinch his 4th round win on this track. Steve Richards has been solid this weekend. A 3rd, a 2nd, on target for another 2nd. And Percat would round out the podium if they finish as they run. And there's no real reason to believe why they won't, because they've got 10 seconds back to Michael Patrizzi, who sits in 4th. Just quickly, how's the Nissan? How are you faring for this afternoon? 19th on the grid. You had a PB for Clipsal yesterday with both qualifying and race result. Yeah,
look, it was great to just get to the finish yesterday for not only Nissan but Norton 360, and certainly amazing that, you know, it was no safety car yesterday, but hopefully we can improve on what we did in yesterday in today's race, but just getting to the finish is a priority for us.
Well, that man who's going to get to the finish here first is making a habit of it. Craig Baird. It's the clean sweep on the streets of Clipsal. He takes the opening round of 2013. It's his 18th career round win in Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. Richards and Percat 2 and 3 in the race, 2 and 3 for the weekend. Michael Patrizzi worked his way through from 7th on the grid. He picks up 4th spot. And Matt Kingsley comes on home in 5th. Great job from the former Porsche GT3 Cup champion, but this is the man they will chase. It will be a tough season over 7 rounds again in 2013. A range of great tracks that we'll be going to with the Carrera Cup. To recap the results, Carl Reindler was 6th from Shea Davies. Warren Luff slipped back to 8th. Stephen Johnson 20th on the grid tonight, and Max Twigg claims elite class honours. He rounds out the top 10. We're on the build up to race 2 of the Clipsal 500 and the next race in the V8 Supercars Championship.